There are many reasons why the latest adaptation of Shakespeare's The Tempest is a must-see production in London. I went to see previews and I'm here to tell you everything that you can expect if you go see this production, both good and the bad, so let's start. To set the scene, this is the first time since 1957 that a Shakespeare's play is performed at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane. So going to see this show is literally witnessing history in the making. And two people who made this possible are Jamie Lloyd, who owns the theatre, and Jamie Lloyd, who is director of two Shakespeare's plays that are going to be performed at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, and The Tempest is one of them. So let's start there. Jamie Lloyd has made the name for himself as someone who is not afraid to push the boundaries and find a new way to interpret well-established classics. Because of this, some people really enjoy his take of more minimalist approach and truly bringing these old pieces to new audiences, whereas like some people really struggle with it because he's very much known for a stripped-down version of the set, not a lot of costumes, and a lot of camera work that happens on stage and projections. And for some people this resonates, for the others simply don't. So when it comes to The Tempest, you might be pleased to hear that some of these signature moves are not present and it's a more of a traditional play, as in there is a set, there are costumes, there are no cameras involved, and everything that happens is on stage rather than actors wandering off mid-play to go somewhere on the terrace and perform something. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy these elements in both Sunset Boulevard and Romeo and Juliet, which are two of the most acclaimed shows that Jamie Lloyd has directed. Sunset Boulevard has received 7 Olivia Awards and now is on Broadway, so it's going to be really interesting to see how many Tony Awards it picks up, because it is a production that has definitely revolutionized this piece. And the same goes for Romeo and Juliet with Tom Holland and Francesca Amebuda Rivers. It was the show that everyone was talking about, but not only because of Tom Holland and Francesca Amebuda Rivers, it was also because of direction and this really bold vision that Jamie Lloyd has brought to life. So when it comes to The Tempest, there is also a very bold vision that comes to life, especially with light, set design, and certain elements and special effects that happen, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So I think this is again another one of Jamie Lloyd's pushing the boundaries moment. So overall, what you can expect in terms of Jamie Lloyd's take on it is a very magical, alien-like take on this play, because the characters are put in this space and set that really doesn't look like they belong on the planet Earth. And just by doing this, the show straight away sets you in a completely different dimension, and you're ready to really consume it as something that is almost out of this world, and you're approaching it from more that fantastical perspective. It almost feels like you're watching a movie rather than a play at times, and I think this is something that is a little bit of a thread for a lot of Jamie Lloyd's shows. So again, Jamie Lloyd is bringing something new and fresh to theater audiences, and I'm sure that a lot of people who maybe don't like Jamie Lloyd production style, they will enjoy the show because it's a little bit more traditional and maybe less minimalist or modern than his previous works. When this production was announced, one of the things that got the most attention is the fact that Sigourney Weaver is in the role of Prospero. This is something that pleased fans around the world, because this veteran of the big screen is finally making her West End debut, and this is probably one of the most exciting plays to be part of, and also a role to deliver to West End audiences. She is known for so many amazing shows such as Alien, but also Ghostbusters, Avatar. She is definitely an icon, and seeing her perform live on stage is something that I feel is one of those moments that you have to witness once in a lifetime. If you get a chance, it is totally worth it because she's such a legend. When it comes to the way that she has tackled the role of Prospero, I would say that it is an unusual take on this role. Prospero as a character is someone who brings a lot of magic to this show, but also a lot of turmoil, and is acting very much like a dictator to quite a lot of characters in this show. Generally, this is a role that requires quite a lot of energy and intensity because of everything that this character is holding in their hands. It's literally the whole plot and everything that's happening in the show is due to Prospero, and because Prospero wants it to happen. And when it comes to Sigourney's performance, it was a little bit more of a static and pensive way to deliver this character, which is probably something that I did not really expect. I definitely expected this character to have more energy and more conviction and just like a bit more of that drive that is actually fueled by negative emotions, and a lot of what Prospero does and says is very authoritarian. So I just didn't feel that Sigourney's Prospero had that element. I think she went in with very mellow energy, because I think she approached it almost as mother and daughter, because Miranda in the show is someone that she's trying to protect so much, and this adds that layer of mother-daughter relationship. And maybe there's that element of like female empowerment, or just how these two women had been outcast from the society and now they're finding their way back in. So I think with that layer it does make sense for it to be that way. But I think the general overview of the show, I would have hoped for Prospero to be someone who's like truly holding things in their hands. It's interesting that Sigourney is on the stage for the whole duration of the performance, but a lot of the time she's set down. Again, I saw this in previews, so I don't know if these things will change, so take it with a pinch of salt, but she was sitting for quite a lot of time on the stage, and it almost feels like she's watching all these characters develop and do what she is wanting them to do. And there are some interpretations that suggest that Prospero is a character that very much mirrors Shakespeare and how he feels when he is creating, but I don't necessarily feel that this was the take that she was going with in this particular scenario. However, someone who's definitely stolen the show is Mason Alexander Park, who is playing Ariel, and there are so many reasons why their performance is something out of this world. Firstly, their voice is incredible. There are some beautiful songs sung by Ariel, and Mason's voice is something that really makes the whole show ethereal and really elevates you to that magical space where you feel like this is something special that you're witnessing. Given that Ariel's singing happens on a few occasions throughout the show, it is one of those moments that really takes you out of the room and then brings you back in. It gave the show such an amazing quality that I think everyone is going to be talking about when the reviews are out. It was also so amazing to see how Mason is singing and levitating above the other characters, because Ariel has that ability to fly. It's just overall the performance that Mason delivered is something that really gives the edge to this production. And I also like how at the times when Ariel is not having any lines, the presence is there. They're sitting in a corner or they are near Prospero. It just feels that it's that omnipresent being. And ultimately when Prospero releases Ariel, there's like an amazing scene of Mason walking out of the stage, and there's a lot of optical illusions that happen in that moment, which brings me to light and set design. This is something that has definitely made this show worth seeing for me. I haven't seen a set done like this before, and the closest thing that I can compare it to is Dune the movies, which is I think a massive praise. I don't know if there's any connection to these two, but there are a lot of Dunes that are on the stage, and what made this set spectacular, it's seemingly very simple, but the light design that is combined and different layers of light that exist on stage really give it so many dimensions that the depth of the stage almost seems like a never-ending thing, and that is something that I was really impressed by in the show. Set and costume designer for this show is Sutra Gilmore, who has worked previously with Jamie Lloyd on Sunset Boulevard, Romeo and Juliet, and The Effects, so it's a very much a safe pair of hands to bring Jamie's vision to life. And light is done by John Clark, who has worked with Jamie before in Romeo and Juliet and The Effect. On a similar note, costumes are also very much present in this show, unlike other productions with Jamie Lloyd such as Romeo and Juliet, where most of them were just wearing black. Another incredible aspect of this show is music. This is very much a staple for other Jamie Lloyd shows that I have seen. There's always music that really makes you feel something, and The Tempest is no exception. I think that even more it brings to life that ethereal and magical element of this play, alongside amazing voice that Mason Alexander Park has and brings to life with the Ariel's singing moments. The music in this show is very ethereal and spacey and takes you on a journey of its own and really complements nicely the other elements such as set and design, which are already very much like you're not on the same planet. Sound designers and co-composers for this show are Ben and Max Ringham, as well as Michael Asante, and I think that they've done an incredible job of really adding another layer to this show that makes you feel something and brings this vision that Jamie Lloyd has had for it a step further, which just transports you to the world of The Tempest, which is very unique and different to a lot of the shows that I've seen previously. My overall thoughts are that this is a play well worth seeing. You just need to be prepared that certain elements are maybe slightly different to what you are used to if you went to see The Tempest before, but generally it is an amazing production with a lot of great elements that will take you on a journey and you won't be the same at the end of it. So go and check it it out until February 2025 at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane. If you're interested in seeing some other reviews for Jamie Lloyd's production, then check out Romeo and Juliet here and Sunset Boulevard here.